At this time, Commissioner Washington and I would like to call our meeting to order. Today is Tuesday, June the 7th of 2022, and it's shortly after the 10 a.m. hour. We're here at 901 Main Street in the heart of Old Town Conyers. We're calling our meeting to order this morning. And any special presentations or recognitions this morning, Chief?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. Looks like Commissioner Washington. We're going to go right on into agenda review. All right.
I'm with you.
All right.
All right.
I'm
yes,
tracking.
sir.
You're tracking. All right. Very good. Okay, Chief.
Mr. Chairman, if it's okay with you, I'll go in the spirit of tradition like Director Rutledge, and I'll just go through, and you all stop me if you'd like.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Chairman, Madam Commissioner, item 245 is from the Georgia Department of Juvenile Justice. It's through the Juvenile Court for Youth Reporting Center Services. It's a grant for $42 per day per youth. The contract extends from July 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2023. Item 246 is Greater Good Charities. It's through the Rockdale County EMA Department, Animal Services Division. It's for nonprofit partner participation agreement to allow the county to be eligible to apply for giveaways, grants, and donations from this organization for a period of 2 years. Item 247, A-Action Janitorial Service. This is through the General Services Department. This is general janitorial custodial services at various county facilities. This is change order number 3 to contract 2020-90, an increased cost for cleaning services for 5 facilities. The additional cost is $1,282.87 per month. Item 248 is through Computer Software Incorporated, CSI. This is through the General Services Department. It's for software services agreement. This is change order number 4 to contract 2020-30. This is to add additional module for recycling tag applications. This is an additional $6,500. Item 249 is through Colin Family Limited Partnership. This is through the General Services Department. This is for lease for space at 882 North Main Street for the district attorney staff in the amount of $77,611.20 for year 1, $79,939.54 for year 2, and $82,330.80 for year 3. This is 3 years with the option to renew 3 additional 1-year periods, and this is ARPA grant funded. This will be submitted next Tuesday for ratification. Item 250 is through Dr. Keith Fallon. This is through the Rockdale County Sheriff's Office. This is for wellness services to employees enrolled in the mentoring program for a total of $77,200 per year, average cost of $130 per session. This contract extends from June 2022 to June 2023, and this is a grant-funded expenditure. Item 251 is through Marchman Consulting. This is through the Planning and Development Department to provide responsible alcohol sales and service, otherwise known as RAS program, at $40 per attendee per session for a period of 36 months.
Could you, do you know if this is the total amount is paid, or do the attendees often also have to divvy up a portion of the fee?
Director Johnson, if you could speak on that, please.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman.
Good morning.
Commissioner Washington. Yeah, RAS, that's actually for the applicants as well. We have the Mr. Marchman under a contract that we do, annual contract, but that's for the actual individual participants.
Right.
When they do the monthly training courses with it. So it's going from $30 to $40.
Okay, so I guess I know that at Costly Mill, if you're going to have a bartender or something like that, they have to complete the RAS training.
Correct.
So are we paying for the RAS training, or do they also have to?
That $40 per attendee is the actual fee for the individual to get the certification.
Right, so they don't have to come out of their pocket to pay any more money, is what I'm asking.
The attendee, if an attendee wants to get certified with the RAS certification, they need to pay $40. It's going from $30 to $40 per session. And so every month he gives us a list I think we had like 5 in May. We have 0 right now for June, but every week it changes. But so the 5 in May, each of those individuals paid $30 per session. So that's going from $30 to $40.
Oh, so this contract allows him to do that, is that?
Right.
Okay.
Yes,
I got
ma'am.
you. All right, thank you.
Okay. Any more questions?
No, okay.
Clear. Thank you, Director.
Item 252 is through Georgia Recreation and Park Association. This is through the Parks and Recreation Department. This is for Building Opportunities Summer Program, the Boost Grant, in the amount of $21,900 for the period starting June 1st, 2022 through July 31st, 2022. This will be submitted for ratification. Item 253 is through King Street Productions Incorporated through the Parks and Recreations Department. This is for location restoration release for the use of Costly Mill Park for the filming of Teen Wolf movie. Item 254 is E.R. Snell Contractor Incorporated through the Transportation Department. This is for Sigmund Road Widening Phase 2 project, and in reference to change order number 2 to contract 2021-35. This is for additional services for unknown issues with existing utilities and rock. Additional $42,380.78 paid for out of SPLOS funds. Item 255, Sewage WTS Analytical Instruments through the Water Resources Department. This is for certified P+ system protection and services for the M5310C Lab TOC analyzer in the amount of $7,215. This is for the period of August 22nd, 2022 to August 23rd, 2023. Item 256 is through Comcast Business through our Technology Services Department. This is for IP services. This is change order number 8 to contract 2018-111. It's to add 2 additional blocks of static IP addresses to primary and redundant Court Street locations. This is an additional $150 to $430.92 monthly for total additional funds of $9,000 for a period of 60 months. Item 257 is through Comcast Business for the Technology Services Department. It's Border Gateway Protocol Services, change order number 1 to contract 2021-212. It's to add BGP services to the county's existing data centers at no charge, just requires a signature for a period of 60 months. Item 258 is a requisition through the Rockdale County Sheriff's Office, Southern Computer Warehouse. It's for Dell Latitude 5520 laptops, Dell docking stations, Dell wireless keyboard and mouse, Dell monitors, HP OfficeJet mobile printers, Apple iPads in the amount of $33,104.28. This is a grant-funded expenditure. Item 259 is a requisition through the Parks and Recreations Department, Senior Services Division. This is for Open Hand Atlanta, home delivered meals, additional funds added to PO 2021-99-E22 for the period of January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2022. The original PO in the amount of $75,925.85, adding an additional $92,657.25. The new PO total is a grand total of $168,583.80.
Question.
Yes, ma'am.
Does this have, is this part of the Meals on Wheels program, or is this a
Director Redmond.
separate program?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, to answer your question, this is part of Meals on Wheels program. And one of the reasons for the change is because their calendar is a July through June fiscal year.
Okay.
So a lot of times, Deputy Director Morgan has to go back and reconfigure because ours is ran through January through December.
Okay.
So that's why you see the difference.
Right. Okay. And did we have any other like grant or any other funding to help with an expenditure like this?
Not at this time, no. Not
Okay.
currently.
Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome.
Item 260 is a requisition from the Transportation Department for construction material services. This is material testing on Rockbridge Road Bridge in the amount of $29,000. This is a SPLOST-funded expenditure. Item 261 is a requisition from the Transportation Department from Wood Environment and Infrastructure Solutions Incorporated. This is for material testing for the SPLOST 4A roadway rehabilitation project in the amount of $84,913. This is a SPLOST-funded expenditure.
Thank you, Chief. If you would, I want to go back to item number 2022-260.
Yes, sir.
If I would, Director Kelly, if you would come on up at this time. I think it'd be one of the most appropriate times as we're going through this review. Commissioner Washington, we've had several inquiries from residents that live in our Lake Capri area about the Rockbridge Road Bridge. As you know, it's been out for 2 years. That bridge has been out for 2 years. I think we're going to get some update here from Director Kelly, but let me just say this. Prior to Director Kelly coming on board, we experienced a significant breach in the Rockbridge Road Bridge, and it has been a major inconvenience for the residents out there and for those folks who travel that particular roadway between here and Dekalb County. We empathize, we understand. However, the replacing of a bridge is not anything you can do in the blinking of an eye or a bat of an eye. And we're not just looking to patch this bridge up, but we're looking to completely replace it. And we're looking to do at least a 50-year build out. Director Kelly, this has been a top priority for you and your department. Director Kelly has been on board with us for a short time, but you called me on yesterday and said that you wanted to be able to give those residents an update. Director Kelly, what says you?
All right. Good morning, Chairman. Good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
So first off, I'd like to kind of give everybody the latest and greatest. The Rockbridge Road Lake Capri Bridge is approximately a $2 million project overall. We have a manufacturer for the bridge itself. We're working on it with that manufacturer. We've already got those materials ordered and they're working on that now. So that's cutting some of that lead time out. That bridge will be coming out of Savannah. We're going to work with GDOT for the inspection of that bridge to make sure it comes out and meets standard. We expect those guys, once they're on board, to be 6 days a week. So some of the particulars, we're having to work with the utilities. Snapping Shoals and AT&T, we verified with them, they have no conflict issues. Atlanta Gas and Light, we currently are working with them. They have some utilities in the area that they need to relocate. So that's where we are now. They're currently working with their selection process to get their contractor set up and on board, and then they're finalizing those details. And part of their issue, potentially, we're seeing delays industry-wide. So it's projected to be start working on the 1st of July, and we're trying to do everything we can to assist them to get that. So that'll be the first part for them removing their existing utilities out of our way.
Director Kelly, part of my job is to take on the look, the sound, and the voice of our citizens. In fact, that's part of why we've been elected, to be the voice of the citizens. So I'm going to ask you a question as if a citizen was asking you.
How long?
What's taking so long?
So, point blank, we have some delay issues with materials. We're seeing that on other projects, Sigmund Road, for example, pipe, RCP concrete pipe. These issues are industry-wide. So they're not just affecting Rockdale, you're seeing them on other counties, other projects, whether it be Atlanta, other whole states are running into issues. So we're trying to change whether we use concrete originally. Okay, let's find another equivalent pipe that'll work. And that process takes a little time. So finding that material that's readily available is sometimes challenging.
But what, I'm sorry.
Director Kelly, you made mention to July 1st. Now, let me tell you, when you announce that something is going to happen on a particular date, folks will hold you to it. Now, what you don't control, and I know that, is the weather. I don't know what the forecast for July 1st is, whether it's going to be hot as the dickens as it usually is in the state of Georgia, to include Conyers and Rockdale County, or whether it's going to be pouring down rain and cats and dogs. But you said July 1st. Now, when you say July 1st, targeted. I'm glad you said that, because somebody's sitting down and they write exactly what you're saying. So I believe you're saying the 1st of July.
Target date, correct.
The first part of the month of July is a targeted date to start. I'm going to yield to Commissioner Washington. Had a couple of questions.
Well, I just wanted to know, like, the relocation of utilities and things like that, that shouldn't have been affected by those supply chain issues. So I wanted to know why things that could have been done already weren't already done in this project.
So when we released the project, we released our contractor to begin work, and that's when you start informing all the utilities that are in the area. We check who's in the area that we are going to be demolishing or doing major construction. That's when they would look at their schedule, find their contractor, and find their materials. So at that point, we released that one earlier this spring, our second quarter, and they started looking at that point. We had already gotten the design process, which that's the first part that when people look at 2 years, that design process is not a short process. It takes a little bit of time to make sure you have the right bridge that we want to last for 50 years or better. So that's what some of that time is. So we've passed that design phase, where now we've got everyone that knows to proceed, to make them aware of what we're doing, and they're doing their due diligence to remove their utilities, whether that be gas, water, electric, whatever that may be.
I'm glad that Commissioner Washington asked that question, because first of all, to understand that we have to collaborate with other utilities. Correct. Gas, electric, and cable, and all of those other folks who have utilities moving through the ground and going under the water, what have you, in proximity of that, the bridge there at Rockbridge Road. Let me just go back to saying this, and Commissioner, I know you feel my pain, because you've yielded those. You've had those calls coming into you as well. Folks are frustrated out there on Rockbridge Road. I want to acknowledge that. I do want to acknowledge the fact that we don't control the weather. Certainly we don't control all the lag time in materials and what has happened over this COVID. COVID has just not been a disease, a pandemic that has impacted the country from a health standpoint, but from production, material, buying a car, buying a vehicle, doing any projects in and around your house. You tell the folks, talk to the folks over at Home Depot, they'll tell you that there's been a lot of product they just don't have. We empathize with our residents in the Lake Capri area. Yes, we do. But I guess the message, Commissioner Washington, that I really want to put out is that we want that bridge up and running just as much as they do out there, I believe, in Lake Capri. However, we have to do our due diligence. The scientific part of this work and the design has to take place. I'm nobody's engineer, but I'm going to tell you this. We want that bridge done right, because we're thinking 50 years and forward thinking here in Rockdale County. So as much as it is an inconvenience and such a delay, we're asking folks to please be patient, pardon the progress. We know that it's been very frustrating and irritating. And again, with the number of traffic that's going inside of the Lake Capri communities, they've never seen that amount of traffic coming in and off of Rockbridge Road, trying to navigate from Rockdale County up to Dekalb County. We get it. But all of the residents in the Lake Capri area, or that's along the Rockbridge Road corridor, we want to say to you that this is a top priority for the Board of Commissioners. We've made it plain and clear to Director Kelly and his executive team out of the Department of Transportation that this project must have the full weight of the Department of Transportation. He's working with GDOT, Georgia Department of Transportation. As he just stated, he's working with all of the other utilities that has to support this project being done correctly. I wanted to take a moment, because there's a lot of conversation going on about it. And I believe that if I was a resident out there, I would feel the same exact kind of way. It's our job, Director Mims, it's our job to communicate, to educate, to inform, and give folks updates, Director Kelly, as to what's going on, Commissioner Washington, what's the status of these things, because in our passing, at the grocery store, beauty salon, barber shop, the gas station, church, somebody that lives in Lake Capri want to know what's going on. They think we up here in a coma, just sleeping, not paying attention, but that's not the case. We're on top of it. And Director Kelly, what are the last few points? Act as if you're not talking to me and Commissioner Washington. Speak to the residents as you come to your closing comments here, because we've got some more stuff on this agenda we got to get to. But I want the people to hear from the Director of Transportation. Talk to the citizens on the Rockbridge Corridor and Lake Capri, please.
So as part of this structure, you will see ER Snell is our contractor. They will be mobilizing. We're looking for them to, again, these are targets. We are looking for them to mobilize August 1. Bridge demolition will start August 3rd.
Okay, so you gave us, stay with me now, because I'm telling you folks are writing this down. You gave me targeted for July 1st, at the beginning of July.
Utilities.
And then you went on to August 1.
Mobilization.
And then you said August 3rd.
Demolition of the
old bridge. All right, see, that right there has to be in clear perspective, because you have citizens who've been watching this project, and they are watching this broadcast, and they want to make sure that they're going to hold up. Whatever's supposed to happen on July 1st don't happen. They'll be here on the very next meeting after that. Whatever's supposed to happen on, I think you said August 1st, they'll be at the very next meeting on that. Then August, so forth and so on. What I'm expecting you to do, and what we need, Commissioner Washington, are readily updates and reports from the Department of Transportation. Director Mims, I'd like for you to partner up and collaborate with Director Kelly. Y'all go out to the scene. You got all that high-tech technology and PR, and get your best reporter out there, and you do a report from the scene. Stand on the bridge, stand at the edge of the bridge, get close to the water, ride and get some B-roll, I think is what they call it. Ride through Lake Capri and show the inconvenience, show the speed bumps, and show the detour. Become the citizen, tell the story, and come back, put it together, polish it up, and when we talk about it, we're going to show it on the big screen. And because I want, Commissioner Washington, honestly, I do want folks to know that we're on top of this and that this is a big deal. So can we get that? Can we do that?
Yes.
And let's be ready to respond to the citizens about this. I wouldn't even be upset if you all decided to just put a little something out there somewhere in the world of on all of our social media platforms. Just go ahead on and tell them, especially since you hear. Maybe one day I'll start recording folks like they record me. But I wish y'all heard, I couldn't get a word in edgewise. The moment I said hello at 8:05 p.m. last night, she just took off. And by the time I was able to look at my cell phone to see what time it was, it said 8:58. And I said, yes, ma'am, between that time, because she was frustrated. She's tired of being inconvenienced, and I understood it. So I wanted to make sure this morning that we heard from the director. We appreciate the work that you and your team and the fact that you made this a top priority. Chief, I had to take some time and really spotlight this because this has been a serious concern out in the Rockbridge Road Corridor and Lake Capri. Director Kelly, thank you so much. Please keep us posted. Be sure to get with Director Mims. Y'all collaborate real quickly and put something together, because those dates you gave us, people are going to be sitting on the edge of their seats waiting to hear back from to find out what the county is doing.
Do they have a homeowners association?
They do. They do have an HOA, and I'll tell you.
We have been in regular contact with.
Yes, Director Kelly has been in regular and constant contact with. But you know, let me just tell you, it's like when your child was small and you told your child that you're gonna take them and get them some ice cream. And at 5 o'clock, when they're old enough to know when 5 o'clock makes it to the clock, they're already standing at the door somewhere after the 4 o'clock hour looking for you. They timing you.
No, I was just thinking.
So when we tell people that we're going to do something at a certain time, they show paying attention and expecting us to follow through. But talk to me, Commissioner.
Well, I was just thinking that, you know, an update like this to the Homeowners Association might be a good idea, to go out to them personally and tell them everything that's.
And I will tell you, we've done that since the breach of the bridge, even when we had the previous director, Director Moretto, PR, we've taken a whole team. The Sheriff's Office been out there. I mean, we've taken just about an army of folks, so we've stayed in contact. What we try not to do is take up the time of the HOA if we don't have substance. We need to make sure that when we do engage with them, we have something to report on and something to give them updates. So this is an update here. What she is saying is get a hold of the HOA president and give them this update.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Chief, let's go on to the next item, please.
Yes, sir. Item 262 is a requisition from the Stormwater Department from Lehigh Hansen. It's for riprap, stone aggregates as needed. It's not to exceed $44,512. Item 263 is an expenditure request from COT Systems Incorporated through the Clerk of Court's office. This is to digitize historical documents from the State Court Criminal Division in the amount of $25,000. Item 264, an expenditure request from Dekalb County Revenue and License Administration. It's through the Water Resources Department. This is for sewage treatment for the month of April 2022 in the amount of $111,500.55. Item 265 is surplus of equipment from juvenile court. Item 266 is a resolution of the Rockdale County of the Board of Commissioners of Rockdale County declaring the results of an election determining the continuation of a 1% sales and use tax and the issuance of general obligation debt by Rockdale County and for other related purposes. Item 267 is a special use permit, case 2022-01, an ordinance to amend the official zoning district map of Rockdale County as amended to authorize a special use permit for a dog kennel at 1609 Valley View Road, Conyers, Georgia 30012. This is to repeal conflicting ordinances and for other purposes. This will be submitted next Tuesday for the first reading. Item 268 is a special use permit, case 2022-02, an ordinance to amend the official zoning district map of Rockdale County as amended to authorize a special use permit for a daycare located at 2462 Wall Street, Southeast, Conyers, Georgia 30012, to repeal conflicting ordinances and for other purposes. This will be submitted for a first reading next Tuesday. Item 269, future land use case 2022-04, an ordinance to amend the future land use map of Rockdale County's comprehensive plan as amended so as to redesignate property located at 2051 Highway 138 Northeast from medium density residential future land use category to the high density residential land use category to repeal conflicting ordinances and for other purposes. This will be submitted next Tuesday for first reading. Item 270, rezoning case 2022-07, an ordinance to amend the official zoning district map of Rockdale County as amended by rezoning 2051 Highway 138 from R1 and M1 to RM to impose conditions upon the property, to repeal conflicting ordinances and for other purposes. This will be submitted next Tuesday for first reading.
Yes, sir. Chief, just for a quick pause, Director Johnson, just give us just a brief. Come on up, sir. Give us a brief on RM. Tell us what that is. The average person listening don't know what in the world RM is. Tell us what RM is. Going from one to another.
Commissioner Washington. RM is multifamily residential. It consists of apartments and townhomes. In this case, will be townhome development.
Very good. Commissioner Washington, any questions on that one?
No.
Okay. Thank you, Director. That clears it up. Next item, please.
Item 271 is a rezoning case 2022-08, an ordinance to amend the official zoning district map of Rockdale County as amended by rezoning 1945 Sigmund Road Northwest from R1 to M1 to impose conditions upon the property, to repeal conflicting ordinances and other purposes. This will be submitted next Tuesday for a first reading. Item 272, rezoning case 2022-09, an ordinance to amend the official zoning district map of Rockdale County as amended by rezoning 2527 Sigmund Road Southwest et al. From C2 to RM to impose conditions upon the property, to repeal conflicting ordinances and for other purposes. Will be submitted for a first reading next Tuesday. Item 273, rezoning case 2022-10, an ordinance to amend the official zoning district map of Rockdale County as amended by rezoning 2294 Irish Drive Southwest from C2 to RM to impose conditions upon the property, to repeal conflicting ordinances and other purposes. This will be submitted for a first reading next Tuesday. Item 274, text amendment request case 2022-01, an ordinance to amend the text of section 106-1 definitions, 218-1 permitted use table, section 218-13, and chapter 214 standards applying to all districts of the Unified Development Ordinance of Rockdale County as amended, to create regulations governing the installation and design of solar energy systems and for other purposes. This will be submitted for a first reading next Tuesday. And item 275, budget amendments. This is a mid-year adjustment in the amount of $601,154.14.
Outstanding. Thank you so much, Chief. You represented Executive Director Rellis very well this morning. You went through that lickety-split. Yes, sir. We appreciate that. I'm going to keep it moving. We're now down to public comment. If you would read the disclaimer, and then we'll call up our first spokesperson.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. As a reminder, public comment is limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Comments relative to any issues that are currently going through the public hearing process, matters that are in active litigation, political campaigning, or partisan politics will not be heard in this meeting. Speakers are to address the chairman, not each other or the audience, and are expected to conduct themselves in an appropriate manner. The use of abusive or profane language shall not be allowed. No debate or argument between speakers and or members of the audience shall be permitted.
Thank you, Chief. We have one red comment card thus far. If you are interested in speaking during this portion of our meeting public comment, please go ahead and fill out and complete the card at this time. In the meantime, our first speaker is Mr. Abraham Little. Mr. Little, come on up. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to come before you and express some concerns that we have for the Jackson Creek Homeowners Association, as well as, I'm sure, other homes around us. My name is Abraham Little, and I am the president of the Jackson Creek Homeowners Association here in Conyers, Georgia. On May 31st, 2022, I was contacted by two of the Jackson Creek residents regarding the invasion of their privacy by drones flown over their swimming pool. One of the residents also reported seeing a drone outside her window at 9:00 p.m. Both yards are surrounded by the required privacy fencing. Both residents reported feeling that their privacy was invaded and violated. I have reached out to our local enforcement only to learn that currently there is no law prohibiting individuals from flying drones over private property. These residents also reported feeling helpless after learning that the local law enforcement could not advocate on their behalf. As the use of drones increase, this problem will increase and become more than an invasion of privacy property. For instance, this can cause caregivers and young, unexperienced new swimmers to become distracted, which could result in drowning. This could result in photos of children and adults being taken, a picture being taken and distributed without consent. This could result in drones being shot out of the air, which is an unlawful practice, and the residents of Jackson Creek will be advised of this via newsletter. Let me just say on that part about the drone, I did speak with the officers. They told me that it was unlawful for us to do that. I did speak with the residents of those homes, and they are aware that they cannot legally shoot down a drone. Mm-hmm. And the list goes on. The list goes on about what's happening. This could, we are soliciting your prompt attention to the problem for Jackson Creek and other communities and Conyers.
Mr. Little, I almost don't know where to start. But I think the best thing in my old school ism is to say thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you for coming out. I've had a plethora of thoughts as I was sitting here listening to you, and I'm known for being pretty candid, so that won't change right now. When I think about the violation of the privacy of coming to someone's backyard, or swimming pool, or whatever you're having. I don't care if you're having a backyard barbecue, cookout, gathering, or just gardening. A drone flying into your private and most intimate space, I would feel violated too. Well, the one thing I don't want to do is ill-advise you. However, I hope all the drone operators throughout Rockdale County, I hope they're in tune and watching this broadcast, because you need to make sure that you're following all of the federal guidelines as relate to flying a zone. In addition to that, I want to say, Director Johnson, move very swiftly. I'm asking you to have us a draft back here in the next 90 days. Are you writing that down, or you got a good, strong memory? Okay. In 90 days, I want you to come back to the BOC with a draft presentation, and you need to work with the Chief of Staff on this. And I would also encourage you to get with the EMA, and I'd also encourage you to get with the Sheriff's Office and the City Police Department, because this is serious. I don't like this none whatsoever. I know these drones, I pay enough attention to what's going on in the world. They've got cameras on them, and I just saw an old, ugly, nasty story about somebody doing something inappropriate as it relates to young people and kids and all that kind of foolishness. You don't know what folks are doing. So I don't like this. Now, I'm gonna just say this. If a drone enters my space and get too close up in my space, you ever seen a kite just lose the wind from under it and just fall out the air? But this drone being made of metal and material, Commissioner Washington, is going to make a little bit more noise than a kite. What I'm saying is that call the authorities and make the report every time you see it. Protect your space, okay? Use common sense. In the meantime, our planning and development and our ordinance department, under the direction of Director Johnson, are going to move as swiftly as possible and do what needs to be done, because what I'm asking him to do is nothing unique. There's other counties and municipalities that do have ordinances that speak to those drones, and I do understand that they have to line up with state and federal guidelines in terms of what can be airborne in the air. In the meantime, I want to make sure that you get information to my office, because I think there's another common sense approach that can be taken as well, because what goes up must come down, and there's a way to deal with it. So again, thank you for bringing this to our attention. I had many visions in my head as you was reading this and as you was making mention to this. I want to say to the residents out at Jackson Creek and to the residents of Rockdale County, you're property owners, you're homeowners. It's enough to pay the mortgage and pay for your space. The last thing you want someone to do is invade your privacy and feel as if you're violated, and that you can't even swim in a pool without a drone coming over. You don't know what they're doing. So I want to say to the folks out there, this is serious. We're going to move as swiftly as we possibly can and have something back. So bear with us. So we've got to do our due diligence and get this done. But in the meantime, I want to make sure, Ms. Mims, raise your hand. Turn around at Mr. Little. That's Ms. Mims. She's going to tell you how to get a hold of our office, and me and you can have a sidebar conversation, because I know a different way of how we can do some of this while the staff do its due diligence and follow the protocol. I'm going to talk about some creative ways of how we need to make sure that you and your neighbors out there are within order, and at the same time that y'all's privacy is respected. What else don't worry about the clock. What else you want to tell us? Is there anything, and Commissioner Walsh, you got any comment on this at all?
Well, of course, I feel the same about the invasion of privacy, and we do need to come up with the drone ordinance. I would also ask that Director Johnson make sure he talks with the county attorney, because you do have air rights, and we need to make sure all of that is taken into consideration when we draft this ordinance, so that we're not on the other side of some litigation.
Absolutely, and he heard me clearly when I said due diligence. All the directors know exactly what that means, and plus the county attorney sitting over there, he's tuned in with this as well. But I appreciate what the commission is saying. We do want to make sure we are responsive and we do our due diligence. But rest assured, Mr. Little, again, thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to come and share this with us, and be sure to get Ms. Mims contact with her, because she's going to get you through to my office, because I want to talk a little bit more about this situation, and let your homeowners know that you've penetrated, you've gotten through to us, and that we're going to get some deliverables here at least within the next 90 days.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, and thank you for all you do on behalf of the citizens of Rockdale County.
Just leaving, may I say?
Yes, sir.
I did submit for your information. I didn't want to put everybody's name out there, but the two drafts of the residents who were immediately affected.
Yes, sir.
They are side-by-side homes.
Yes, sir. I see them, and thank you for that, too.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Okay. It seems a little, I got it.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Little. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Are there any, Chief, I only had Mr. Little's card. I think that was it for this morning, didn't it?
Yes, sir. If there are any others, I'm happy to
Any other
collect them.
speakers? Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, he got my blood, he got me balling that. He just reeled me right into that, because I could see that as he was describing that one there. So we're going to, Director Johnson, we're going to get right on top of that. Moving on, it's time for board comment. Commissioner Washington, what say you?
Okay, first of all, I'd like to congratulate, she's not here, but Dr. Williams on her win on Election Day. Also, congratulations to the people.
Can we give Commissioner Williams a round of applause?
Even though she's not here, absolutely. Congratulations to the the citizens of Rockdale County on the passage of the SPLOST.
Yeah, that deserves another round of applause. Lord have mercy. Yes.
I would like to congratulate our director, Margaret Moore Jackson. She was inducted into Top Ladies of Distinction.
Oh,
It's good news.
it is. I'm sorry.
I said all this good news.
I know, right?
keep going.
Keep going. Okay. You know, it's summertime and we have all of these, all of our children are out doing different things during the summer, and it's, you know, it's late and we still hear children up and down the street playing basketball, riding bikes, whatever. So I want to remind everybody to please slow down. I was walking yesterday evening and this little boy almost got hit because he's on his bike, and you know, he's probably about 10 or 11 years old, and I just need for this traffic to slow down, people to slow down, be very, very conscious of the fact that our children are out for the summer and they are in summer mode, especially it's new to them, so they're not ready to go back to school yet.
Right.
They're doing all the summer thing. I wrote down the whole thing of the drones because I definitely wanted to talk about that later. But as I mentioned the last time we were together, I am taking the leadership development class, and two things that I've learned over the past 2 weeks. And the first thing is that it is imperative that we get all of our leaders together so that they can understand where the organization is going, and so that they can take that back to the people that they're leading. So I want to congratulate our leaders on having a successful leadership institute last week, headed by Director Tony Holmes. I understand everybody that has talked to me about that said it was outstanding. And, you know, I heard that after they got back, so I was like, oh, we're doing the right thing. So I really wanted to iterate that. Thank you all for doing the right thing, and I hope that everything is passed on to everybody's their departments. The final thing that I did have, like I said, I'm really enjoying this, especially the excerpts from Colin Powell himself. But he gave 13 rules of being a leader, and he said the way this happened was somebody called he was giving a press interview one time, and somebody called back to his staff and they said, well, tell us something about Colin Powell, tell us, you know, about his leadership, and tell us what goes on in the day-to-day. And he said that the people knew not to tell the real things, but they told him, they told the reporter, ask him about the leadership things that he just jots down on his desk. Ask him about those things. It ended up being 13, General Colin Powell's 13 rules, and these are so good that I wanted to share them with everybody.
Please do.
Number one, it ain't as bad as you think. It would look better in the morning. And I want to say that one of the jewels about this program is that he goes and he talks about each one of these jewels. So he gives his own rendition of it. Number two, get mad, then get over it. He's talking specifically to me because anybody knows me knows that I hold grudges, so I'm working on it. Number three, avoid having your ego so close to your position that when your position falls, your ego goes with it. Number four, it can be done. Number five, be careful what you choose, you may get it. Number six, don't let adverse facts stand in the way of a good decision. Number seven, you can't make someone else's choices. You shouldn't let someone else make yours. Number eight, check small things. Number nine, share credit. Number 10, remain calm and be kind. Talking to me again. Number 11, have a vision, be demanding. Number 12, don't take counsel of your fears or naysayers. Number 13, perpetual optimism is a force multiplier. And I wanted to just say something about that one, right? Because that's the guiding principle of the whole leadership Academy about perpetual optimism. And I've been a Colin Powell fan forever. And I remember it was about a month or so before he passed, he went to the hospital and somebody asked him, had paparazzi, I guess, they said, General Powell, why are you going to the hospital? They gave him all this doom and gloom. And he came out, he was like, what do you mean? Why am I going to? I'm going for a checkup. My life is great. I'm however many years old and I look this good and I'm getting it. He was in a yellow Corvette and I'm getting in this Corvette and he got in this Corvette and he drove away. Of course, he probably was, near the end and he probably knew that. But what he gave to the people was this whole sense of optimism, like he had his whole life in front of him. So, yeah, exactly. So, I'm done. I don't even have Dr. Williams to...
You know what, Commissioner Washington, just the mere fact that you enrolled in this leadership development and following the General Colin Powell's model, and the fact that you just shared those 13 principles, that in itself deserves a round of applause. We really appreciate that, and you're very candid to always, you hear me often say that leadership is ownership, and you owned 2 or 3 of those yourself, and you were very raw about it, so we certainly do appreciate that and the progress that you're making through your own personal and professional leadership development. I want to move now to just, we're doing good on time, by the way. We'll point that out. We're rocking and rolling. But I do have a few announcements coming from a couple of our department leaders. I want to start with our Deputy Director of RWR Water Resources, Deputy Director Von Jameson, who heads up our customer service department and our bill pay. We've, this has been one of the areas that we've been spotlighting inside of county government. Director, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Madam Commissioner. How are you?
Good morning. I'm well.
Well, good. So I'm super excited. We are an RWR customer care. I just left a training. Talent management has been doing a great job with the DISC assessments. And so I'm excited that we were able to continue that for our group. So our team is doing a lot of training, getting on the same page. I call it Operation Same Page, and training is one of those things. We're actually going to be enjoying one of the books the directors and deputy directors read together to make sure that we are pushing leadership all across our lines, whether they hold that leadership position right now and so we're super excited about that. I left a team that was laughing together, finding some things out about themselves, and so that's so important as we're looking to serve our residents of Rockdale County. Second thing I'm super excited about, we are hiring. So RWR is hiring. So if you go to the Rockdale website, we are hiring for a few positions. We've been a little short-handed, and so we're looking to add some new people to the team. Even being short-handed, though, I'm really excited that we're still on schedule as it relates to reading bills, and that people have returned to their historic, I said it last time, the historic billing period. Like I said, that was really big for me because of our seniors. Our seniors were accustomed to getting bills around the same time every month, and so I'm super excited that everybody is not only being billed in the same time frame, but they're being billed on time. One of the last things is that our trucks started rolling yesterday as it relates to the AMI project, our radio read program. And so, as you know, we're trying to move the whole county to radio reads where we won't have to depend upon human intervention or any other pandemic that may hit us as it relates to reading meters. And so those trucks started rolling just yesterday. Our customers, all of them whose meters are being changed out, we've sent out postcards ahead of time, letting them know that your meter is going to be changed out. There'll be a small interruption window, 15 to 30 minutes, as we are changing those meters out. Now, of course, if they go up and they see that dial spinning, we won't shut off that water because they could be in the house taking a shower. So we will give a courtesy knock to let them know we're looking to do that. After that meter's been changed out, we also have a door hanger that we're placing on the customer's door, letting them know you have our best, our latest, and our greatest. So that is our SPLOST dollars at work. We are still encouraging every customer to pay your bill. And if you can't pay that bill, please contact RWR. We don't want our customers having higher than normal bills. We are still not charging late fees. We are still not doing disconnects, but we do encourage every customer that just because we aren't disconnecting right now, you are still using water. And we are encouraging you that if you have some problems paying your bill, contact RWR, but you also can contact, I said this last week, our Partnership for Community Action, because it's our LIWAP program where they're helping people who are struggling to pay those bills, who are still coming. We're not using COVID as an excuse, but for those that are still trying to stumble across the finish line, our federal government has given some additional help to make sure people can pay those water bills on time.
Deputy Director Jameson, we certainly do appreciate, I feel your excitement too, and all of the good news coming out of the Customer Service Center is so important, particularly the part about the training, knowing that our teams are moving in a new direction and stand on the cutting edge of technology and what's new. You talked about the radio read program being out there. That's a big deal, whether people really realize it or not. We hope we don't go into another pandemic, but in the case or in the event that we do, we have the tools and the resources to be able to navigate. Then you went on to talk about the county ordinance that's always been in place about hardship. We're not in the business to cut anybody's water off. That's not what we're not in that kind of business. But guess what? Water ain't free. So you got to pay the bill. We'll work with you. If there's something called an installment plan, we'll work with you. You got to open your mouth or come see us. We'll work with you. But water ain't free. I just want to make sure I say that, because guess what? Somebody somewhere got to pay for the water. Somebody got to pay for the water workers. And when there's a problem, which is a segue to what I'm about to do, we've got to make sure that we have funding in place. Director Bogan, come on up. Tell us about the emergency response over in our historic Millstead community this past weekend. As Director Bogan is coming up, you all know that the Millstead community, founded in 1902. Some folks don't say Millstead like I break it down, they say Millstead. So over in the Millstead community, just east of us, we've got aging infrastructure that's probably been around here since 1902. Tell us some of the ongoing problems. But you had an incident out there this weekend, and the resident texted me and said, I have never seen them respond that fast. And tell us about what you had out there, Director Bogan. Director Bogan, by the way, is the boss. He's the director of water resources, and him and Deputy Director Jameson, who you just heard from, I kind of call them Batman and Robin. You see one, you see the other. Director Bogan.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
We had another water main break in the Millstead area. We've had several breaks over numerous years. But the good thing is that's coming. We have completed the design for a new water line and sanitary sewer. Woo. We are preparing to send that out for bid probably within the next month or two.
Okay, now how do we move the probably within?
Well, what we have to do, the problem is financing. I got to kind of coordinate when the finance will be in, because the project is about 2/3 finance, and then the other part will be in the next upcoming budget.
Okay, I got it.
So I would have to try to time it.
Yes, sir.
To come in where I can have the total funding for it.
I'm tracking.
Yes.
Well, you know, Director Bogan, first of all, thank you and your crews who responded this past weekend. It may have seemed like I made a little bit light of the situation, but let me just tell you, certainly the Millstead community is a historic community here in Rockdale County, again established back in 1902, and they have very old and aging infrastructure. What I've done, Commissioner Washington, I've asked our leaders, particularly our utility folks, we can't just keep going out and just fixing the problem. What we've got to do, we have to highlight, take pictures, take video. We've got to show our residents what's going on. And we talked about there's been 40 years plus of neglect. Well, that's saying it is one thing, but when you show a person a picture of a pipe or a picture of a whole, and infrastructure, they can then connect the dots. So I certainly do, but the responsiveness over there to that team, and the good news that you just talked about is about what is about to take place. I'll tell you, if there's ever a community that really needed an infrastructure upgrade, it's the Millston community here in Rockdale County. Any questions for the director? No. Director Bogan, thank you so much. Absolutely. In that same spirit, I'm asking Director Simpkins. He heads up our stormwater department. We've only had a stormwater department since 2017. And Director Simpkins, tell us what's going on in the world of stormwater. And I wouldn't be upset if you gave us a little bit of the do's and don'ts, because it's summertime, like the commissioner said, and people are taking yard debris and other kind of debris, and they putting it in and it clogged up. Talk to us a little bit.
Right. Well, thank you very much, Madam Commissioner, Mr. Chairman. It is just an exciting time in stormwater management. There's just a lot of activity going, and I'm going to get to the ditches and different issues, do's and don'ts.
That one, the photos up there?
That is one, and I'm going to get to that. Let's keep that right there for a second, and I'll segue right into that. But first of all, one of the really exciting things is that, you know, when you're dealing with 40 years of neglect, you cannot do it without people and resources. So I want to say that we have gone from approximately 9 vacancies that we had in our department overall down to 2. So I want to definitely thank talent management for their assistance with that. With the implementation of that market study and giving these pay raises and getting us competitive with the rest of the metro area, it has just made a big difference in us being able to secure competent talent over in stormwater management, and it has made a big difference in the morale of our office staff and our field personnel. So it's like, now we've shown you the money. Okay, we've shown you the money. Now it's time to produce and get these pipes in the ground. So that has just been a really big help, and I want to personally thank talent management for that.
Thank you.
Also, the securing of on-call contractors for storm drainage infrastructure and service contracts to improve county responsiveness. We work for the citizens of Rockdale County. We have to be responsive. You know, the days of, oh, I've been waiting 2-3 years to get this sinkhole fixed in my yard, those days are over. Prime example, I'll segue into the picture. This is a location at 616 Hunters Crossing Northwest. What you see right there is a pipes brand new. They come, they're nice, straight, uniform. As you can see over the years with deterioration, the life cycles of these pipes are probably 20 to 25 years for corrugated metal pipes.
Okay.
This pipe, we're sure, has been in the ground over 30, 35, 40 years. As you can see, the invert of this pipe is totally rusted out. So when that invert rusts out like it has, what happens is the water still is going to run through that area, but instead of being right there at the bottom of the pipe, it's going to be running on dirt, and it's going to take that soil and sediment with it downstream, which in turn creates the sinkholes that a lot of citizens see developing in their yards. This is a classic case. Our pipe systems across the county, we have multiple locations like this that we're addressing, and so we just wanted to let citizens know, when we're begging you to pay your stormwater utility fees, we're just not taking that money and throwing it away or wasting it. These supplies are very expensive. It costs for machinery, rock, the aggregate line item that we just saw that we have to use when we're installing these pipes. These stormwater utility fees are the lifeblood of our department, and it's very important that we continue to collect. So just other angles of that pipe, and it's just in really bad shape. So thank you very much, Director Mims, for putting those pictures up to kind of bring to life what we're dealing with day to day in the stormwater management.
Director, what does are you using the same type, is that the industry standard steel? And if so, what's the cost of to replace a piping like that?
To replace a pipe like that, typical job, say if we were going to an on-call contract, we had in-house crews to do that pipe right there. I would get with the superintendent to get you in-house costs.
Okay.
But a typical job with an on-call contractor doing that simple job, you may be looking at $40,000 to $50,000.
Just that one job?
Just that one job, and that is a very simple repair. That's a smaller size pipe. So these costs increase exponentially when you go into larger size pipes, you know, and that you have to deal with. I also want to say another exciting thing going on in the department is our streamlining of the LDP application process and our oversight with the land and service permits. We've been working very closely with Director of Planning and Development, Director Johnson, to streamline that. And how that helps is economic development is the lifeblood of a community. Mm-hmm. So when you have people that want to come in, want to do business in Rockdale, want to develop, want to build nice homes, townhomes, which affects the tax base, we have to make that process as easy as possible and be as responsive as possible. Streamlining this LDP process has been a really big deal for Rockdale, and I think also at the same time, Director Johnson and myself, you know, have cut down on these phone calls that you and the Chief of Staff, you know, were getting when we first started. So we're really happy. We're really happy. Amen. We're really happy about that. As I mentioned, the stormwater, and I'm going to close. I'm not going to be too long-winded. I want to kind of close with, we've been definitely working with the tax commissioner on the collection of these stormwater utility fees. They've been great. It's been a wonderful thing. It has definitely improved our collection percentage, and we're going to continue to do that. But one thing we have, with, of course, with sometimes increased fees, people want to know, well, wow, why my fee go from, you know, this amount to that amount, or go from $40 to $102? What we're doing is we're working with Ralph Tellis to do a flyover, which will upgrade our impervious surface layer that we have on our GISs, which is one piece that we use to bill for the stormwater utility fees. So we will be doing that flyover here in the coming months. You know, once the leaves fall off of the trees, December, January, we will be doing that flyover to upgrade the impervious surface layer. Just a lot of exciting things. I'm not going to rant on, but we just thank you for all of your support, and we're just going to keep it pushing.
Director Simpkins, Commissioner, you have any questions or comments for the director?
Oh, one thing. I see that those are corrugated metal. What are we talking about or thinking about using the concrete?
Well,
for code?
Requirements are that we use concrete under all roadways. That is the standard now, that we go with concrete under the roadways. There's another material that is widely used in the industry. It's called HDPE, which is high density polyethylene pipe. We are going back in with a lot of HDP pipes in that job. If they've got some of the other photos, I think there are a couple of photos that may show the HDPE pipe that we went back with in that trench right there, which is going to have a longer life cycle than that corrugated metal pipe. Right, so there are new materials that we are going back with to kind of improve the life cycle.
Thank you.
Thank you, Director Simpkins, and thank you to you and your department. We certainly do appreciate those photos, because that brings the whole story full circle and help us as well as the citizens make the connection. So appreciate you working with Public Relations Department. I'm going to ask at this time that Director Dan Morgan from Emergency Management come on up, and don't look like you're shocked. You know you're supposed to come in here ready. Come on up here and tell us what's going on in the world of emergency management. We got a little bit of storm coming, and we're going to be moving in some of that hurricane season and all of those good things. And you got some do's and don'ts for us with that good-looking necktie you got on there, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
With the upcoming hurricane season, there have been two major prediction houses that have come out to say that it will be slightly more active than normal. So they're predicting about 20 to 24 named storms, and they're predicting 3 to 6 of those will probably hit the U.S. And so since we're Georgia, with how close we are to Florida, we have essentially two coasts that they can come in from the Caribbean up through the Gulf of Mexico or from the Atlantic. So all that being said, if you haven't made plans or have a go kit or a go plan or how you're going to protect your house and family, you need to work on it now. We say this every year, and every year we seem to skate by with minimal damage that leads us into a false sense of security. So think if it was coming next week or next month and you knew it, what would you do? And once you decide that, then go ahead and do it. So I would say that preparedness and the proper preparedness is very important, and it could be for tornadoes, it could be for hurricanes, it could be for windstorms, it could be for floods. It's sort of getting in that mindset as a one-size-fits-all that I wish that everyone would do. On a related note, our CERT program is jumping off back up because we can now meet in person now that COVID is hopefully on the downward slide. Still pay attention.
One of my terms, Director. You said jumping off. Now, when you use that term, what exactly are you saying, jumping off?
We have already been advertising. We are getting back together. Okay. Yes. Right. Jessica Benton is my CERT coordinator, and she's already had a meeting. We have a core group of very excited individuals in the community. They've already been out. They were at the Community Public Safety Day at Parker Road about a month ago.
Yes.
And with clipboards, and they signed up anybody who would stop and talk to them. So, but if you're interested in being in the CERT program, contact our office at 770-278-8405. And if you just want to get literature on how to be prepared, contact the same number and we'll be able to get you something. We're giving out preparedness literature at every time we are out at any event. So the whole thing of this spring and into summer is preparedness.
Director Morgan, you did a fantastic job. Tell us real quick, educate us, what is CERT?
CERT is the Community Emergency Response Team. Thank you for making me say that. And it is a volunteer organization made up of the community members, and you learn through this CERT course either how to protect your family and your neighborhood, you stop there. Okay. There are other people who say, no, I want to take the information and go a step further, and they are sort of an on-call group that we use for force multiplier for public safety to get the messaging out. Mm-hmm. We even have some who we've gone a step further if they're interested and trained them in search and rescue, and we'll use them as a force multiplier when the fire, EMA, and sheriff are maybe out on the trails looking for someone. Mm-hmm. So it's just a way to give back to your community from an educated and a professional standpoint of emergency management. I really appreciate you explaining. We use a lot of acronyms around here. That is correct. And a lot of times our citizens or people who's watching are not clear. Sometimes we as commissioners don't know all of the acronyms ourselves, so it helps when you break it down. But just hearing what you're saying and knowing the demographic of Rockdale County and a lot of folks out there with four-wheelers and the big trucks and the ability to do this, there's a brigade of folks who are willing to work. So your phones, how do they get a hold of you? Give us a number so they can reach you if someone is interested in being a part of that CERT team or that backup unit out there. How do they get a hold of you? EMA 770-278-8405. Ask to speak with EMA specialist Jessica Benton or myself. But she is the lead person and is taking the ball and running it. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Yes, indeed. You had that Colin Johnson look on your face when I first called you. I caught you off guard. Yeah, he's been teaching you. You coming around. You coming around. I'll bring up our fire chief, Chief McDaniel. Come on up, Chief, and tell us about some of this, so much stuff going on in the world of public safety and that kind of thing. So go ahead and just give us an update. In fact, some of this stuff is a little bit disturbing out there, Chief.
Yes. Mr. Chairman, Madam Commissioner. As recent as March 18th of 2022, Georgia ranked 8 on the list of states with the largest number of hate or extremist groups. One such group made its way to Rockdale County about 4 o'clock this morning. Our crews responded along with Deputy Fire Chief of Operations Sharon Webb to an incident on Farmer Road. When she got there, she was met by an APD officer, and specifically group ACAB all cops are bad. Actually, the B says something else online. But Cop City, if you've been watching the news, there's construction going on in Atlanta, DeKalb County areas. And one such group followed a member of a contractor company to Rockdale County. One of the contractors that's working on the facility in Atlanta, they saw the truck and followed them here to Rockdale County. The person stopped over on Farmer Road to do some business, and they set the equipment on fire. Even more disturbing of that, in Atlanta, often the cops that are protecting or the firefighters that are responding are attacked with Molotov cocktails. They're thrown because they're trying to, of course, make a point and cause harm. So I want to bring that to the attention of you all, as well as all of the citizens, residential and business communities of Rockdale County and nationwide. This stuff is real. We often watch in the news, we hear about shootings and different things in other places, and very seldom does it come into our backyard where it's here. It is here. And as we talk about see something, say something, it is very important that we do. You dial 911 if something's suspicious, or we have a number for our see something, say something is 770-278-7888. But more importantly, I want everyone to be vigilant. This stuff is real. These extremist groups, who knows what ticks them off, but they're taking action, and we have to take action and remain vigilant. And I want to make sure we get that message out.
Chief McDaniel, I so appreciate you sharing that with us this morning, and I really appreciate you taking advantage of this platform to publicly share this, because here's what I do know. The majority of our citizens support public safety. They support law enforcement, they support fire safety, 911, they support public safety. There's only 2% or maybe less of the population of people who act a fool out there and disrespect public safety.
Correct.
I've been keeping a track of the situation about what they call in Cop City. The Atlanta Police Department is building a new facility over in DeKalb County where they own land. The folks, not only the other day on the news, they talked about the contractors who's going to do the work. Their office is in Alabama. These extremist group went all the way to Alabama and tore up the doors, vandalized, just because the folks are going to build something here. At the end of the day, you need the police when you call the police.
Absolutely.
You need the fire department when you call the fire department. And let's be real, we've made some strides in terms of pay and salary and compensation for public safety, but I'd be damned if they make that kind of money for somebody to hurt them on the job like that. And you just said it's come to Rockdale County. We're not going to tolerate it. I'm encouraging all of our citizens to do more than see something, say something. Call the police, get a hold of the fire chief, call me. Let's sound the alarm in Rockdale County, because we're going to stand tall to make sure that public safety know that we have their support and their backing to make sure they do their job. And it doesn't limit it to Rockdale County public safety. The fact this person was here conducting some kind of business and this had to happen, it's embarrassing. Okay? One of the things we boast as commissioners is that we don't have the same kind of trouble. Every now and then we do have a little something here in Rockdale County because we have people that live here. But we're not one of those counties that repeatedly, night after night, are on the 6 o'clock news. Yes, we're there every now and then, but not night after night. So we want to make sure that Rockdale remains one of the most safest counties in the metropolitan area here in Atlanta. Keep us posted. I know you're monitoring that. Feel free to come back and give us more updates as things progress. We hope things will get better. But certainly, I know law enforcement is on top of this, and you're working in concert with the local law enforcement agencies as well. Chief, is there any other additional comment you want to add to that?
Well, yes, taking a slight note from your book, I would like to give my cell phone, my county cell phone, not my personal as you do, Mr. Chairman. That number is 404-309-6657. 404-309-6657. And so if you hear something, see something, of course, please first dial 911. But now if you need to call me or text me, that's available 24 hours a day.
Thank you so much, Chief. Thank you so much. Chief Cape, I remember it was just a few short years ago when, and I think it was really Commissioner Washington, it was pre-pandemic, when our firefighters were at the fire station, sleep at night, and they wake up in the morning, somebody done bust in the cars, broken into, vandalized their vehicles. And that was happening all throughout the metro, and it also happened here in Rockdale County. So we've got to do what we're supposed to do to stand with all of our employees, and particularly our public safety. I want to bring up at this time, Director Sanders, come on up and give us a brief update as to what's going on in the area of general services, and just share with myself and Commissioner Washington and all of those who are paying attention those things that are hard and pressing out of the General Services Department.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So I just wanted to bring to your attention, I think that everyone in the country is experiencing supply chain shortages, material shortages of all types, and it slows us down. But we are diligently working on projects and have completed many throughout the pandemic, but things like lumber, concrete, even for the citizens going in some of our offices, HVAC units go out. And parts for them to come in sometimes take weeks, where we could get them the next day before. So there are some inconveniences. Vehicles, we have some that we ordered last June, excuse me, that are not in yet. So that's a year, and we don't have an ETA yet. So these are the kind of things we're working to keep providing the services and keep the county moving. But we do have some challenges in that area that I think sometimes people think the government gets everything quicker, and we don't. We have to go through the contractors, suppliers, and order the items just as everyone else does. So hopefully everyone saw the new elections location. You know, we managed through that with the contractors, but we still do have a few items, and we've been working in that for quite some time, that are back ordered. But, you know, we got them in and they're moving. So, but just wanted to mention that as we're out and about, patients, you know, we have some playgrounds that we've, you know, SPLOST dollars, we're getting the requisitions in, but again, they're delayed time after time, and we will get the projects completed as soon as we can.
Commissioner Washington, the running theme this morning seems to be patience, and that we're asking folks to bear with us just a little bit due to all of these delays in the supply chain. And again, I think we had two other directors already referenced this earlier, that we're not unique to this. Everybody else is experiencing it as well. And even if you're ordering something personally at home, some of those items take a good amount of time to get to you. But when you think about county operations and county government, she mentioned the fact that we ordered vehicles last year, and we still have not been able to receive those vehicles. And then that doesn't even include all the raw material that it takes to do some of the work that's out in the field. So this is good. Executive Director Sanders giving us this update because a lot of times when you don't communicate with people, they think that maybe we're doing something intentional or what have you. But I think people really appreciate the updates, and they appreciate the status reports, so that we can keep them in tune and in touch with what's happening in our community, particularly with county government. Because as she stated, a lot of times folks think that we just have a magic wand, or at a snap of the finger that the county government just gets it. But we're in the same line a lot of times that everybody else is in that line, and sometimes we're not at the front of the line, we're at the back of the line. But thank you so much. Any comments or questions for Director Sanders? No. Director, thank you so much.
I also wanted to just mention really quick that the Judicial and Administrative Task Force, they're underway and doing good work. They are not meeting this Thursday. Their next regular meeting will be on Thursday, June 23rd at 5 o'clock in the courthouse.
That is good news, and we are so proud of the work that they're doing on behalf of the board and the citizens of Rockdale County. Thank you so much, and thank you to all of those people who volunteered to be a part of that task force. I'm going to ask Executive Director Tony Holmes, come on up. Talent Management Director, we've heard so many things reference talent. You know, talent management, they used to call it human resources. It's our people department. Come on up, Director Holmes.
Good morning, Madam Commissioner, Chairman. I believe they're going to put up a flyer I wanted to share with the community. If we take a second, I'll go ahead and start talking about it. So we are excited. We're going to be showcasing, or we are hosting a business quality customer service training. Chick-fil-A is the facilitator for this training, so we're excited to be able to bring that. It is going to be on Wednesday. Oh, there it is. Wednesday, June 22nd. The training is between 8:30 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. This information is on our Facebook page, and there's a link that you can register for it. We do still have spots available, so we want to make sure that everybody participates in it. I did want to go ahead and share the topics for the training so that the citizens can hear. Chick-fil-A, it is going to focus on hospitality with internal and external customers. We're going to be talking about people versus product. How do you establish a win-win with colleagues? Also using the herd model. So that's familiar. That is very custom to Chick-fil-A. And we love acronyms, so I'm going to go ahead and tell you what herd stands for. I had to look it up myself. It stands for hear, empathize, apologize, resolve, and delight. So that is a Chick-fil-A acronym that they're going to be focusing and sharing with the citizens right here in Rockdale County.
Can you read it one more time? Just
one more time,
Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Hear, empathize, apologize, resolve, and delight. That's the herd model from Chick-fil-A. So they're going to be sharing that with our citizens. Some of the other topics, the value of listening and effective communication and its contribution to the customer experience. And then the last thing they talked about was your roster, how to place the strongest players in their best positions. So that's going to be the focus of the topics for the training coming up. So,
Director Holmes, let me tell you, I'm going to yield to Chief Cabe in just a second. He's got a short, brief story. He had an encounter. All of us have a Chick-fil-A story and experience, but you know you can pass by Chick-fil-A and there's cars wrapped around the building, but they will have you in and out and they'll have your order correct. The fact that we've partnered with an industry master like Chick-fil-A who gets it done. And I like Commissioner Washington, the fact that this is open for the public. So for other folks who are in the customer service industry, if you're in customer service, whether it's internal and county government or you are out external, a vendor or someone in the community, and you want to send a few of your folks to kind of brush up, I don't think between Rockdale County and Chick-fil-A it gets any better. Chief, tell us about that experience you had just the other day with Chick-fil-A.
I think many of us have experienced something similar to this, but I was out of town and I was wanting to stop by Chick-fil-A, grab something quick through the drive-through and go about my business as I was driving. I pulled into the drive-through and the line was wrapped around the building almost 2 times. And I thought, do I really want to sit in this line? And I thought, you know what? I can sit here, I'm parked, I can text and catch up on emails while I'm waiting. So I chose to do that. And I looked at the clock and figured I would time them to see how long it took to get through that line and a half wrapped around that building, and it only took 9 minutes. And I was so impressed with the fact that there were multiple personnel in the drive-through. I got up to the line, and we've all experienced this, but I was just so impressed that a line wrapped around the building almost twice, I got through in 9 minutes. And that's just a true testament to not only one particular Chick-fil-A, but pretty much all of them have that kind of customer service. So there's so much that can be learned from this company. So I think this is wonderful.
No, Chief, thank you for sharing that. And Executive Director Holmes, let me just say this, and I'll yield to you in a minute. But the thing is, I appreciate you and your department partnering up with Chick-fil-A, because as I look through on a day-to-day basis social media and I hear people complaining and whatnot, but they often reference the good work and the good model they have over there at Chick-fil-A. And I think that when other industry people who are in the hospitality, the retail, or just say the customer service business, when they can model their platform or their business practice behind something like what Chick-fil-A is doing. And there's a different set of principles for each organization, but the basics of customer service remains the same. How we talk to people, they say they strategically put their talent in places to keep things moving. That is almost like coaching a basketball team and making sure that you put the right people with the right skill set in the right place so that we can execute. The date of this, tell us about this again and about the vacancies you have, because I'm sure people are listening and watching and want to know how they can register and get to this.
Absolutely. So the date again is June 22nd. It's from 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. You do need to register for the event. It is on Eventbrite. It's on our Facebook page as well. It is going to be We're going to provide refreshments. We do have some slots available, so it's limited availability. We're about halfway full, so we definitely want to make sure that people go ahead and register. The deadline to register is June 16th, so that's approaching. So you want to make sure, take a look at our Facebook page. You can also reach us directly. I'm going to give Claudette Rancifer, since she is overseeing this program as a career development, workforce development initiative. Claudette Rancifer, she can be reached at 770-278-7582. Again, that's 770-278-7582, and she can send you the link directly. So we were targeting hospitality, Mr. Chairman, but again, this is a community initiative. There's no cost to participate in it, and we are super excited to be able to bring it to Rockdale County.
Executive Director Holmes, thank you so much. I want to say to all of those that's listening and watching, for each of those moments or those experiences, you've had a not so good experience, whether at a drive-through or standing at a counter, and you can think of that place. We want to encourage you to call the manager and tell us, look what Rockdale County is doing. Why are we doing this for our community? Because we want all of the businesses to succeed. We want to encourage economic development. And what greater way to do it than to bring a program like this that encourages quality customer service? And a lot of the problems with customer service is a lack of training. You have to train people. You can't just train today, Director Bogan. You got to just train, and keep training. They have something called a refresher. So a lot of what folks are going to encounter here, they've already heard before, Mr. Thomas, but they're going to get what is called a refresher. Continuous improvement. This is a big deal. And I think it's a big deal that the vision of this county and this administration to reach out into the community. She said it's not going to cost you anything. There's a deadline for the registration, so you do need to register.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, if you are a frustrated manager or supervisor and you run into something in the area of customer service, sign up that employee that's making you speak in tongues. Sign them up today. Get them registered so they can come and you can breathe, and it'll be therapeutic for you and the whole team as you deliver quality customer service. I'm excited. I'm going to be there that morning giving brief opening remarks, and I'm going to get out of the way, Ms. Mims, so that the chief facilitator can come in. And I heard you say there's going to be refreshments.
Yes,
no doubt.
Actually, lunch.
It's going to be lunch provided by none other than Chick-fil-A. Absolutely. Give them a round of applause. This is a big deal. Oh, yes. This is a big deal. I'm telling you, managers and supervisors at all these retail shops and hospitality places throughout the county, they ought to be calling, registering right now to get. And if you miss it, chances are we're going to bring another one back, but we want to see that you really want to appreciate this and embrace it. Absolutely. I think I've got a couple of more, and I'm going to wrap it up. I want to hear from Director Redmond. We're going to keep telling you about all the exciting things that are coming with Parks and Recreation. Then I'm going to yield to Chief Cave at that point. Director Redmond.
Good morning again. So coming up, we have something that has been long overdue due to the pandemic, and we received many phone calls about it, some good, some not so good, not so nice. The beach opening at Cossie Mill is back. We will reopen the beach this Sunday, June the 12th, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And the address for parking to for this activity, for this event, is 2599 Salem Church Road. And again, that is Sunday, June the 12th, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's free admission, food, games, fun in the sun. I know the community swimming pools have been overloaded with kids since Memorial Day, especially in my neighborhood, I can say firsthand. And normally we do open on Memorial Day. We do reopen the beach on Memorial Day, but this year we wanted to make sure that we were prepared with pandemic adjustments in place. So we are opening this Sunday, June the 12th at Cossie Mill Park. So that will be a much anticipated great event and a great turnout. And then for Commissioner Washington, one of her favorite events is the Rockdale County Summer Concert Series.
All right.
That will be at the end of this month. We will go at June 26th. 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at Cossie Mill Park, and we will feature Jalen Gilstrap and friends.
Local homegrown.
Local homegrown. Yeah. He has a great following. So looking forward to him entertaining, getting us started off, getting everything jumping off, as you said, on the right foot. All right, and that's all I have.
All right, thank you, Director Redmond. Thank you, and thank you to your team with Parks and Recreation. They do a wonderful job. As Commissioner Washington made mention to, the school is out and kids are out in our communities. They're out at our parks, and please be mindful as you move through our community. But take advantage of all of the programming that's taking place out at Johnston Park and all of our parks. Go out and walk and enjoy what we have, the amenities that we have in the community, and certainly, please plan to attend the summer concert series. We got 4 of them coming up, and we're looking forward to seeing you come out there. Don't forget to bring your lawn chair, and don't forget to bring your mama. That's right. We're going to have a good time this summer out at the summer concert. I do want one more thing, Chief, before I come to you. I want to make mention, because this is so serious. I'm really, Commissioner Washington, I'm a little disturbed, to tell you the truth, of listening to what Chief Mack was saying. I want to put those acronyms out again, because if anybody see any of this foolishness, the acronyms for these extremist groups, DTF, ACAB, and 1312, or either 1312. One more time, DTF, ACAB, 1312, 1312. These are extremist groups. If you see any inkling, any sign of anything like this moving through our community, call the police, get a hold of the chief, the fire department, and let me just tell you, our fire chief, and I think about a handful of her executive officers, they have arrest powers. They will lock you up. Don't just think because she's the fire chief, you can't go to jail. You will and you can. Well, they will collaborate with our local law enforcement. We have to make sure we stand behind and stand beside public safety to make sure that we protect our owner. One more time, DTF, ACAB, 1312, all of those, Commissioner Washington, are extremist groups, and we don't want that foolishness here in Rockdale County. So I wanted to make sure I said, Chief, you've got a few closing comments, but right before we wrap this meeting up, tell us what you have.
Yes, sir. So I think it's a true testament, based on all of the updates provided by the directors and also our commissioners, as to the true sense of leadership that we share among our group. We talked about the training from last week. We've also talked about other initiatives going on throughout the county departments. Because you all do your job so well, you actually have caused me to cross some things off of my list in terms of updates that I was going to provide here today. But I also wanted to start from the very top. We have a board of commissioners, just so the community knows, that truly does lead from the top. The chairman, in terms of his direction at the leadership training last week, providing reading resources to the directors and deputy directors as it relates to how to work and improve leadership. The book, The Secret, What Great Leaders Know and Do, and also Who Moved My Cheese. Those are just 2 of the resources that have been provided to the directors just this year alone, as it relates to ways that they can continuously work and improve leadership practices. But then also, Commissioner Washington, as it relates to the NACO Leadership Institute that you're a part of, the Leadership Development Program, setting the example from the very top. It was Commissioner Washington who got me excited about that program, so I'm actually looking into examining that program as well. So in meetings that take place behind the scenes that the public doesn't always get to see, it's conversations just like that where our commissioners are setting the example for us, and it allows us to in turn set the example for Rockdale County employees in terms of leadership. As I continue to move forward, just a couple of brief comments. I'd like to mention that our next board meeting is, of course, next Tuesday, next Tuesday at 10 o'clock a.m. Also, upcoming event that I think everybody is happy about is a event that's hosted by the City of Conyers, but then co-sponsored also by Rockdale County government, and that's the Red, White, and Boom event on Sunday, July 3rd. That will take place here in Old Town Conyers on Sunday, July 3rd. And then also, I want to reiterate what Chief McDaniel said as it relates to seeing something and saying something. Our citizens have been very involved just in the last 6 months alone, of course, well before that, but in particular in the last 6 months as it relates to submitting online requests, as it relates to actually seeing something and saying something, but then also as it relates to calling in those complaints. Chief Mack gave the phone number. Again, that phone number is 770-278-7888. The email address is saysomething@rockdalecountyga.gov. Again, that's saysomething@rockdalecountyga.gov. And I want the community to understand that when you submit those requests, they're not ignored. There are multiple people that are recipients of those requests, and we get on those requests quick. One particular incident that comes to mind, and I know we're all looking to move on and end our meeting, but really do have to compliment the leadership of our chairman the Saturday before Memorial Day. He and I were actually planning to have a meeting on that Saturday in his office. We were both on the way to the office. A citizen who saw something and said something made a phone call. That in turn turned into approximately 7 of us going to the intersection of Sigmund Road and Highway 138, and where we were planning to have a meeting in his office, that turned into 7 of us, including Deputy Director Vaughn Jamison, who came in to assist us in picking up 11 to 12 bags of trash at the intersection. There were thousands and thousands of pieces of paper scattered all about the intersection. We had the assistance of the Rockdale County Sheriff's Office. We shut down that entire intersection during the day in the hot sun, and 7 of us were like ants. We fanned out to the middle of that intersection. We frantically and rapidly picked up trash. We were all along the sides. It looked like it had snowed 8 by 11 pieces of paper all over that intersection. There were thousands and thousands of pieces of paper all over that intersection. But that's the kind of stuff that goes on. That's the kind of work ethic that permeates from the top, from all 3 of our commissioners all the way down into our directors. We do not, oh, okay, I didn't know we had that. We do not look at it being the weekend or being 2 o'clock in the morning or whatever the case may be. We look at the fact that it's a job that needs to be done, and we're willing to do it whenever the situation arises. So just wanted to compliment our board for being such great leaders and passing that down to our directors, because that in turn allows us to provide the great customer service that all of these directors provide on a daily basis. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I'll end my comments.
Thank you so much, Chief Cabe. Thank you. We're fortunate to have a chief of staff who gets the job done. He serves as the advocate for all of our directors. He serves as the chief liaison on behalf of the Board of Commissioners and the Office of the Chairman. I do want to follow suit with Commissioner Washington and say, once again, congratulations to our colleague, Commissioner Williams, on a successful campaign and re-election to the Board of Commissioners. I also want to highlight once again Commissioner Washington, because she really, you drove a point home this morning when you shared about General Colin Powell and the leadership aspects and the principles of leadership that he shared, those 13 principles. We work collectively and cohesively as a board to get the job done on behalf of the citizens of Rockdale County. And as the chief alluded to, there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes that most people don't know and they're not aware of. Oftentimes when you're in the people business, you hear a lot of complaints, because that's just part of being, it's part of it. It's part of being in the people business. But let me just say this. We appreciate hearing some good news. We love a good praise report. We appreciate somebody coming in the house and telling us every now and then something good that we're doing. So we certainly do welcome that, and we appreciate all of that. We encourage all of our citizens to be safe. In my closing remarks here, I do want to say there's a lot of things that's happening in this world. This world is changing. People are different. They're different from the people that we grew up with, and the time and the places that we came from. I'm asking that you be alert, be aware of your surroundings, take nothing and nobody for granted. in the area of fraud and credit card transaction. There's a lot of it going on. Watch what you're doing online. Watch with who you're engaging with in the public, and make sure you take a look at your surroundings before you enter a space. It doesn't matter who you are, be it man or woman. Take nothing and nobody for granted. These are the kind of announcements we have to remind our citizens, because guess what? These are the kind of times we're living in. I appreciate all of the work of our directors. I certainly do appreciate all of the work of all of our employees each and every day who put their hand to the plow on behalf of the citizens of Rockdale County. Chief Kate, is there any need for an executive session?
No, Mr. Chairman.
That being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time. This meeting is adjourned.